Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Welcome back to another News I Missed, where I go over news I missed, because there's always so much stuff happening in the cryptocurrency space and it's impossible to have it in just one video. So alas, here we are. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, or by telling me what your favorite cryptocurrency is. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The world's leading cryptocurrency asset manager, Grayscale, you should all know them at this point. They are massive, continues with its rapid expansion by overcoming another asset under management milestone at 30 billion US dollars. Somewhat expectedly, yeah, the trust is dedicated to the two largest crypto assets, namely Bitcoin and Ether, account for over 95% of their holdings. Founded in 2013, Grayscale enables rich people to receive exposure to various cryptocurrencies without having to worry about storing or managing the assets. Until 2019, the company had attracted about only $2 billion in assets under management. However, 2020 became the firm's most successful year, as it witnessed the most substantial inflows from institutions. By the year's end, Grayscale had $20 billion in assets under management. The company hasn't slowed down since the start of the year. Recent data indicated that assets under management has grown by another $10 billion in a little over a month. And Grayscale is now holding $30 billion worth of cryptocurrency. This means a 50% increase in about 5 weeks. And there's that little tweet right there. Grayscale is a beast of a monster. They're not going to be slowing down anytime soon. It is actually quite, no. The only other company I can think who's even like slightly close to them at this point that we know about is MicroStrategy. $30 billion in just holding cryptocurrencies is absolutely insane. Once again, never forget this. They are one company in the space, and there are multiple others who are trying to do the exact same thing. I think the last time we had these numbers was actually the 20 billion mark. It is expected, no one knows TID, but it is expected that by the end of this year, Grayscale will have accumulated over, or very near to, 1 million Bitcoin as they continue on their trek up the mountain. That's not as dramatic as I wanted it to sound, but you understand exactly what I'm saying. Anyway, that's the Grayscale news. They make sure that they're in the news at least 5 times a week. At least. So, yeah, that's the Grayscale news, and I guess essentially rich people buying up huge amounts of cryptocurrency news. And without further ado, let's move on. In super mega popular, ultra all over the place news, Paul Tudor, the American billionaire hedge fund manager, is backing a new $72 million crypto venture fund launched by veteran investor Glenn Hutchins, along with his son James Hutchins and partner Travis Schur. Missing a vowel there. The venture capital fund was reportedly launched out of a North Island Venture, a New York-based venture capital firm. The new crypto venture capital attracted investment from many veteran investors and former CEOs from Pepsi, Money, Apollo Group, Venture Capital, SoFi, Money, COO, Twitter. The new venture capital fund has already made 7 investments up until now, including the Dapper Lab, the popular DeFi game developer behind CryptoKitties, and Flow Blockchain. Glenn Hutchins said that crypto is an emerging investment that would revolutionize the finance sector. He said crypto promises not just to revolutionize finance, but also to invest a new computing paradigm that will be as transformational as the personal computer. Wow. The internet, mobility, and the cloud. It is the proverbial next big thing. Wonderful. So this news was all over the place. I guess the news being that Paul Tudor Jones, who's always in the news before, we had him before. He was one of the first mega hedge fund managers who was like, yeah, I like Bitcoin. I got a lot of Bitcoin. Bitcoin makes me money. I like Bitcoin. And then we saw a lot of other hedge funds also getting into the space as well. So the fact that Paul Tudor, listen, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened the first time. I kept on seeing a name that kept on popping up, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He's into crypto. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know he was into crypto. Okay, yeah, we get it. Okay, cool. He's into crypto. And it was this right here. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says $72 million crypto fund backed by Paul Tudor Jones and LL Cool J. In most articles, LL Cool J was more prominent than Paul Tudor Jones. I saw a lot of things saying LL Cool J invested in a $72 million Bitcoin fund, and I was like, I guess he's the more popular one. So the news is, there's another fund that is being launched. Has launched? No, it's launched. They already invested in stuff. But LL Cool J's there, so you know it's cool then, because he got all the ladies. So I mean it's cool, of course, but like we just had news. What's the guy? Gene Simmons from Kiss. I don't know if people are surprised that rich people like making more money, or that they're into these things, or I don't know what it is, but I personally believe, I think every single celebrity out there is into crypto or owns Bitcoin at this point, just, logically speaking, because of everything that's been going on. Anyway, that's the LL Cool J news, and I bet none of you, 0% of you saw that coming in this video. Not one of you thought I was going to say the name LL Cool J. None of you. Without further ado, let's move on. Here's a really popular one. During the last few months, a few reports from mainstream media, and they shorten it as MSM. I don't think that's ever going to be a thing. Outlets tried to prove that a large sum of Bitcoin is controlled by a small group of people. Recently, Bloomberg claimed that 2% of accounts control 95% of all Bitcoin, a claim that doesn't hold any weight to on-chain analysts. On Tuesday, Glassnode researcher Raphael Schutze-Kraft latest report refutes the claim by MSM. Isn't MSM a channel? MSN. M&M. Stressing that Bitcoin's ownership is not highly concentrated. This is like new old news. Years and years ago, and I used to say this in my videos as well because logic. If we keep getting news that all these rich people are buying up tons of Bitcoin, logic tells us that they're going to own all the Bitcoin. I've seen people talking about that in the comment section, and I have my own feelings for it as well. It's kind of it's not a told you so kind of thing. It's like, why didn't you listen to me kind of thing years ago? Not you personally, but a lot of people I know. I have people who are asking me how to get into Bitcoin when it was like $34,000, and I'm like, I told you about it when it was like 3 figures, and no one. So, yes, this has been a major thing. Why Bitcoin if all the Bitcoin is owned by all the rich people? Kind of thing. Oftentimes, it says mainstream media outlets and reporters publish a story. Okay, I don't have time for them to constantly keep shortening MSM as if it's like a real thing. The point is, Glassnode made this beautiful chart here, basically showing a whole bunch of animals. Because, like we always hear about whales. Apparently, there are a whole bunch of other animals in the sea. And you got miners, exchanges, you got humpback whales, you got sharks, you got dolphins, you got fish, you got octopi, you got crabs, and you also have shrimp. And this is the measure that they're trying to show. And here, there's a chart down here. But here's the actual chart. I made sure to blow it up so everyone can actually look at it. Glassnode says that apparently a large portion of the supply is actually held by shrimp. I guess basically meaning, wait, hold on. Shrimp is if you have less than a Bitcoin. You're a crab, okay, if you have between 1 to 10 Bitcoin. You're an octopi if you have between 10 to 50. You're a fish if you... A fish? I feel like an octopus is bigger than a fish. And I feel like a crab is usually... Have you seen snow crabs? Have you... Google snow crab. Yeah, exactly. They're huge. So I feel like this should be kind of whatever. Anyway, a fish if you have 50 to 100. Dolphin if you have 100 to 500. A shark. A whale apparently is... Which, okay. Oh, apparently a whale is only if you have between 1 to 5,000 Bitcoin. Which means we've been using that term completely incorrectly for a long amount of time. Because a humpback whale is if you have over 5,000 BTC. So, wait. If a whale is at 1,000 to 5,000 and a humpback whale is over 5,000, the Winklevoss twins have at least 200,000 Bitcoin. What are they? Mammoth? No, wait. What's bigger than a humpback whale? Can you be a planet? So the point is, Glassnode has apparently disputed, refuted, computed all this information and basically has said that no, it's actually the everyday normal people who have the most supply of Bitcoin going around. Yeah. Not sure why this is still news. We know even in daily, normal, everyday, average life, that rich people have a huge portion of the money. So it's no surprise that this is also going to happen in the cryptocurrency space because once again, they probably, maybe a little bit, see the value of where this asset class could go. So they're making sure to buy more of it. Now, this goes back to the discussion that I had a long time ago with many a person. And I'm like, hey, why don't you just throw $1,000 into the market? I have a friend. I just told him to do that a couple days ago. And he told me no. He said, it's ridiculous to own a portion of a Bitcoin. So the distribution continues one way until when we hit $1 million, it's going to be a very sad day for a lot of people who didn't take time to realize that they could have purchased when the price was not $1 million. Anyway, that's the Glassnode news. Very popular. Very, everyone's talking about it. Yes. See, I told you the rich people don't have all the Bitcoin. It's like they have a huge portion of it. They have a very large chunk, but sure. Why not? Let's move on. Next up, Stellar is in the news. The Stellar Development Foundation announced on Tuesday that an anticipated integration with USD Coin is now live. Yay! Users can now transact with USDC on the Stellar blockchain. The integration with the second largest stablecoin was initially announced in October of last year. As it was reported, the stablecoin, ow, my toe, jeez, why am I always hurting myself? I don't, ow. I just did that all on camera. Sorry, I thought I was having a Charlie horse. Okay, it's gone. I had my toe up, pressed against the wall. Why am I telling you this? Up against the wall. And I was pushing so hard that when I moved it away, I could feel like the tension. Oh boy, that wasn't nice. The stable coin, wow. The stable coin has since doubled its total supply to approach 6 billion, up from 2.7 billion in October of last year. This news is great. Why is this news great? Because it's official. We know for a fact that USDC is now on top of the Stellar blockchain. I mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. There are so many projects, so many coins who keep saying that they can do this, they can do that, they're going to have these partnerships, they're going to have these integrations, but it never actually comes through. So the fact that this is now happening, that more usage of the Stellar blockchain is going to continue from this is wonderful. Why? Because they claim something, they did something. I expect more coins to be built on top of them. If your blockchain and your coin and your project is so great and so wonderful and so good that it can take over XRP, that it can take over Ethereum, it can even push to the second position in the cryptocurrency market, do it. Do it. I don't care for Stellar. Like personally, I'm not like a Stellar fan. I think they are a actual blatant ripoff of XRP because the people who were working on XRP moved over to Stellar and just made a brand new coin. Also, with the intent of working with banks, they do the exact same thing. Look at their website. But they're being used, so can't knock it. This is a win for them. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, the US dollar pegged stablecoin known as Tether has been minted on the high-speed blockchain Solana after a month after announcing it. Tether has just been minted on the Solana blockchain. Data from this blockchain explorer showed the move came months after Solana was chosen to be an issuer of Tether. This is not the first time that another blockchain is getting Tether issued on top of them. It just happens to be this time that it is Solana. I mentioned before, this started in the end of 2018. maybe beginning of 2019, that Tether started to place Tether on other blockchains. And I had an inkling that it had to do with the fact that they were trying to become as decentralized as possible. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know what took place. I don't know if it was something with regulators. I honestly don't know. And I think in all complete honesty, if something with regulators, because people keep bringing it up in the news, if something with regulators had happened with Tether, I think they would have been obliterated a long time ago. They're still here. Regulators are in the space. We would have known if something faulty, bad had taken place, yada, 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 yada. So I think they're doing this to make sure that in the event of a not so friendly situation, that they are still on track, on 9 other blockchains and still being used on this and still being used on so-and-so. It could also be, it gets other blockchains to be used and it takes the load off of their own network. So cool. More stable coin news. Tether on Solana. Absolutely wonderful. And let's move on. Next up, it seems there's no stopping the rise of Bitcoin. A little over a decade since its creation, Bitcoin has seen its highest per token value ever at over 40,000. It's being embraced by PayPal, money. Now crypto enthusiasts are looking for the next wave of adoption. Analyst Willy Woo, as an on-chain analyst, according to Willy Woo, there we go. He said that Bitcoin is on track to reach 1 billion users in the next few years. As per a series of tweets by Woo, Bitcoin has around roughly 135 million users. I think that's a lot. The last time we spoke about this, the number was believed to be just around 100 million people on the planet. And that was like a couple of months ago, which is the same number of users that the internet had in 1997. For those of you who also do not know, a lot of investors who are getting into the Bitcoin space. Now, this is why it's very important. When I say that we are on a long-term track, it's not simply because it sounds good or sounds nice to say out loud. It has to do with the fact that investors, mega investors, institutions, and banks, and corporations, and Visa, and stock exchanges who are integrating Bitcoin are not doing so that they can dump it in 2 years. They're seeing this as a very long-term hold, like past the year 2100. That's not a fake number either. Long-term hold. And kind of the idea is that we are still roughly around 1997 internet time as far as adoption. So by the time we remember the year 2000 when like everything was on the internet and this was happening on the internet, that's still a couple of years away for us, but eventually we will get there. And this is when people start saying those really crazy numbers. Like, how we keep seeing like Bitcoin's price like hitting $500,000 and then $1 million and then 5 million and having $100 trillion market cap? It's because of these things. If this is what's happening now, when we have this much adoption, 135 million people out of 7.4 billion, it's still a smidge. So when we have more people and more people are buying Bitcoin and the halvings continue and the supply keeps dropping, the price goes up. And then eventually, we end up getting to where we kind of are now. Like imagine we use the internet for everything. Every single thing. Now imagine in 25 years, how far and widespread blockchain and cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin are going to be. They're going to be in everything. Everything will be integrated with this system. So that's kind of the idea, which is the same number of users in 1997. However, Bitcoin is currently seeing a higher rate of growth than the internet did at that time. If it continues on this trajectory, Wu says, Bitcoin can reach the billion user mark by the year 2025. A feat which took the internet 8 years to do, and there's the tweet for it right there. I think there's no stopping this at this point. The integrations by the mega companies and corporations and banks, gotta stress that because they're integrating something that's meant to usurp them. Why would they be doing that? Because they know what's coming. All of that just tells me that this is going to be a very long ride. It's going to be a very, very interesting future for basically everyone in the cryptocurrency space. And I always wonder like how far it's going to go. There are many price estimates and stuff like that, which we're not going to even talk about in this video because they get kind of completely out of control. But we are at some point going to hit 1 billion people who own Bitcoin or fragments of, you can't own an entire Bitcoin at that point, but you get what I'm saying. all we need, and I was listening to the What Bitcoin Did podcast. I think it was yesterday as I was going on my walk. I think it was the most recent episode, or one of the, I don't remember what it was. And they were basically talking about the adoption rate for cryptocurrencies and how it kind of, really works. Like, the market skyrockets, we get tons of new people in the market. The market crashes, we retain about a good 60-70% of those people who were in the market. It goes back down. People don't really talk about the cryptocurrency market. The people who were still there before continue to buy up the cryptocurrency. Prices start skyrocketing again. We get brand new people who come into the market. Eventually, we fall back down. We get people who go, oh, I don't want it anymore. And it kind of continues in this way. But these crashes that we've been having will become less and less as time goes on, because it's no longer everyday normal retail investors who are buying it and then selling it off because they're panicked. It's now companies and banks and institutions and stock exchanges who are holding hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So any falls that happen, even the falls in price we were experiencing a couple of weeks ago, every coin that was sold was purchased by hedge funds. And they told us that the next day. They were like, yeah, we bought Bitcoin when the drop happened. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the adoption news, if you will. And without further ado, moving on. In the most shocking news, I cannot believe this is happening because, stuff like this hasn't been happening for the last couple of months. Ukraine has announced plans to establish major data centers near some of its many nuclear power plants. These centers will ultimately be used to mine cryptocurrencies and store important documents. Can't forget that part. The news suggests that Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency, is growing more popular around the world as prices continue to expand further. Sure. As it stands, there are contrasting reports regarding how much electrical energy will be required for the mining facilities to be established. While the Ukrainian government has put out reports stating that anywhere between 250 and 500 megawatts will be needed, the state-owned utility company Energotam claims that anywhere between 2 and 3 gigawatts will be required to run the operations. Once again, Ukrainian government is going to be mining Bitcoin. Here's the article that's quoted in the article that we were just reading. It says, Ukraine plans huge cryptocurrency miner data centers next to nuclear power plants. This is from Data Center Dynamics. And then within this one, here's the actual thing from ukraineinvest.gov, government website, explaining that as well. So I'm shrugging because I don't really know what to say. Bitcoin is undervalued. Governments are buying Bitcoin. Governments are mining Bitcoin. This isn't the only one. There's multiple others who we've gone over before. What was the other news that we had about Denmark? What is it? There's something programming. Oh gosh, what is it? Their pension fund within the country, I think, has a portion of its funds also allocated into Grayscale. I believe it's Grayscale. So everyone in the country officially also owns Bitcoin as well through this fund. Yeah, at some point we're going to get to a $300,000 Bitcoin, and it's going to shock a lot of people. But if you've been watching the last 200 videos, none of it should shock you at all. You should be well prepared, because governments are coming out and saying that they're going to be mining Bitcoin. If they're mining it, we can only assume that they're probably also buying it as well. Anyway, that's that news. Yeah, we have confirmation about these things, and then Bitcoin's price dips by 2%, and I'm like, somebody's not paying attention. And without further ado, let's moving on. And to finish things off, stock and crypto trading app Robinhood has reportedly re-enabled, instant deposits for cryptocurrency purchases after almost a week. Wonderful. Robinhood has removed the original update on its support page, suspending instant deposits, and its website currently shows Certain users once again have instant access to up to $1,000 to buy crypto. Wow. Many of the app's users are also reported on social media that they were able to access the trading feature last night. So the news is, after restricting people for over a week, you're now able to have access to your money once again. I'm going to applaud them because, you know, a week is it's a certain amount of time, but the fact that they're allowing you to use your money again is really kind of them. So just understand that the cryptocurrency market, not the Robinhood market or other trading apps, are 24/7. They don't restrict you from using your money, and your limit of $1,000 is usually not a problem on actual cryptocurrency exchanges. So just so you know, because I'm trying to choose my words lightly because, you know, life. Anyway, I saw this and I was like, that's just wonderful for them. If you are legally able to use cryptocurrency exchanges in your country, I would implore you to do your own research and to look into them to see if you are legally able to actually access your money 24 hours a day. And then you should see if a cryptocurrency exchange is right for you so that you don't have the situation where, once again, if something is pumping and you're making tons of money, that someone tells you to stop. I think that's the nicest way of saying all of that. So I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again. The glasses. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.